Hello everyone, welcome to another watercolor painting live stream. And today we will be continuing the paintings that we started yesterday. And after that, I'm going to pick a few topics to draw and to paint. And it is easy watercolor for beginners. Wait, let me see. I need to put in my charger. Let me see. All right. Now I am all set up and ready to go. I have my tea, I have my paint. So yesterday I started with some cozy items and I'm trying not to use autumn as a theme too much yet, but still it has been rainy weather and I do love the cozy vibes. So I think we're going to stay in there, but I'm going to try and stay away from pumpkins for a little while. So I want to finish the first layer of this mug. And then we can put some details on the other painting with the toadstool. Now I'm going to take the easy way. I'm not going to trace all those chocolate chips. I am going to paint the first layer, and then once that is dry, I'm going to add some darker paint there for the details. So the first layer on this illustration is almost done. Now I'm going to drop in some darker brown, some burnt umber to get more shade in there. And now we're going to just let that dry. And I'm going back to the flowers in the mug. You can get a smaller brush for this. I think I'm going to do that as well, because this brush is holding too much water and now it's just flooding my painting. So I get some paper towel to soak it all up, and now grabbing my smaller brush, and I'm just going to paint in those floral leaves. And I want to put a lot of pigment in there, especially since it is covering a bit of the purple, because I didn't stay clear from those lines. And if it is too light, then it's more difficult to see. I do like the contrast. So we are finishing up these illustrations we started yesterday, adding more details, and then we are going to start one or a few other illustrations. Just let's see how far we can get in an hour. I am doing these daily live streams with watercolors for beginners. So if you're interested in learning how to paint or improving your watercolor skills, your drawing skills, you are in the right place. Now I am deliberately putting the pink inside and having it touch the yellow. At some points it blended out more than the others. I guess the others have dried more already. Maybe put a little bit of the color in here as well. I like it when colors aren't like flat areas of solid colors. I like it if they have some shading, some different color variation. It makes a painting less flat, more alive, playful. That is the characteristic about watercolor that I absolutely love. I'm adding a bit more ochre here because there's this weird white area. Fix that. And now the stripe below here is a bit thin. I think that once this is dry, I'm going to put some metallic paint covering this up. That's also a way to fix an error. And now I'm picking my very light turquoise blue to gently trace these white lines of the puff of air, hot air coming off of a cup of coffee or tea. It's tea. There's a tea bag in there. It's very dark tea. It's winter glow. Okay, so I wasn't supposed to get into autumn vibes and now I've been drawing winter tea. So apparently in 2 days we have our 4th heat wave probably. So I think I will get into the summer vibes again by then. And until then, you just need to bear with me with my cozy vibes. I do love cozy vibes all year long anyway. Putting a bit more on this side. All right, so there's one more thing I would like to do, but I am not sure. I just painted this line. I want to add some a line here with some indigo blue, but I'm afraid that if I'm going to do this now, at this point it's going to spread out. So I'm going to leave this as it is, put it aside, and we're going to put some details on this toadstool illustration. This is almost finished, but what I do like to do is add some stripes on the leaves. I'm using a darker green. This is actually aqua green. I really like that very much. And I'm just adding some details that really makes a difference in a painting. Gently putting down some lines here as well. And also on this side, and as you can see, I already put in some lines while the paint was still wet, so you have these smudgy lines. And now I just cover it with some crisper lines, and because the layer beneath has dried, they are going to stay nice and crisp. It's really nice to work in layers when it comes to watercolor, but you really need to think ahead. If you don't have much experience with this, just pay attention. Once you have covered something, you can't really go back. So I do have, now this is aqua green. I'm going to put a little bit of indigo blue on my brush. And I'm going to very gently trace the bottom of these white, how do you call these, like bumps on the toadstool. So we are adding some shade over here, just very gently, making it not too thick. You can still see that turquoise light blue line. So this really is to touch the very base, just to give it some more depth, making it a little more interesting. So we left the white spaces and we are just using some other colors to make it look better instead of just painting something white. We are working around the white area. All right, now let me see what color. I want to add some details, and I am hesitating between burnt umber or some dark red purple color. I'm going for burnt umber. Maybe I will get back to that. So I'm going to do a few lines just like this, like having some wrinkles on there or something. And then with the same burnt umber, I'm going to trace the line right here very gently and not too perfect. It's nice and playful, and I'm going to add a few of those stripes in there as well. And again, very gently trace this line. Adding a few more of those lines down here. Maybe you can trace a few of those smudges at the bottom as well. Like that. And now if you are in the mood for this, what you can do, well, let me just go all the way in this case. Let me see. I want a nice bigger brush. This is a size 8 round brush, and I'm going to put a nice sap green wash on this. So I'm grabbing a bit of water and I'm making sure that the brush is going to be filled with that water and some nice pigment on there. See, this brush is totally filled with green paint right now. And what I'm going to do is just do a nice wash underneath like this. Very simple, one stroke, maybe going back and forth a couple of times. And voila, you have got your grass. And now we're going to let this dry. And once it's dried, well, you can already see that nice watercolor texture in there of the paper, which already looks a bit like the grass. But once this is dry, we can use our tiny brush and add some more grass details on here as well. But now we need to move this one aside as well. So we have our two paintings that we started yesterday, and both of them need to dry now. So I'm going to put them aside and I'm going to grab a new piece of paper and we are going to start our next drawing. And before this session, I have been trying to get some inspiration, and now I really need to remind myself there were some really nice things I wanted to draw. Let me see. I am going to grab a glass. Let me see. It must not be too big. Let me check. I think this one is too big. Yes, too big. I need a smaller one. Let me see. Does this fit? You know what? I'm going to grab myself a bigger piece of paper. Oh, wait. This will work. All right. Now I'm going to try something. I haven't really thought it through yet, so this is an experiment. Bear with me. You can do this on a square piece of paper as well. Just make sure that when you have a cup or a glass that it fits, and you put it in the middle, and then we are going to trace around it. Try not to move the cup. All right, so this cup is very smart of me. It's not perfect round. This is handmade. Here, this is really nice with the illustration of the Dom Tower of Utrecht. Anyway, not important. So what I want to do is to create a cozy illustration within those circles. I'm really trying something out here. So I know this makes no sense because it's a circle and I'm moving it, but in my head, I have placed a horizontal line and I want to have that. I like to work like this. You know, like this. I don't have a lot of wiggle room with my arm. I like to work like this. So that's why I've turned the page, and now I am putting a line a little down below the middle. And what I want to do is draw a very simple, tiny house, a cottage. I need to put this straight again, so I need to make sure it's right. So we're going to draw a nice, cute cottage, and it does not need to be perfect. Now I'm thinking, do I want to add something to that cottage? Really playing around here right now. This really is about just, I don't know, feeling confident in just playing around with your pencil and trying to draw something. I don't have anything near me that I am tracing or trying to copy. It's just something I have in my head, and I don't want to overcomplicate anything. Just a very playful exercise. And as I said, it doesn't need to be perfect. This is going to be like a fantasy illustration, so everything can be true. Even if it's disproportional, that's all right. I'm already putting more details in this than what I usually do if I show you a watercolor illustration tutorial, but I like to mix it up as well and show you all the things that are possible. So now we have our nice little cottage, and now it's really nice to have like a, how do you say it, like a pathway to our cottage. And of course the cottage is further away, so these stones, they slowly need to get bigger and bigger. And I would like it, well, you know, there's smoke coming from the chimney right here. And now I want to have like a bush right here. And maybe let's just put a tree down here. And of course there are bushes right here as well. We are not overcomplicating, overthinking anything. And let me see, put a, how do you call it, this type of tree right here. And you see I'm already covering a bit of the edge. What I like to do somehow, yeah, I'm going to add all kinds of leaves around it. So I am going to use my kneading eraser and lift off the excess pencil of the circle. So I want to have it as erased as much as possible, but I still want to be able to see it, because I want to use it as a reference for what I'm about to do now. So I want to add stuff, like maybe here we are going to add a branch with a lot of mini branches, but the point is I would like to have a lot of berries. So let's do a lot of those berries first. Right, those are a lot of berries. Okay, and then this way I'm going to do another branch, but we are going to have some leaves on here. I'm just going to draw some leaves and maybe put some, how do you call that, acorn leaves. Another type of leaf right about here. Just make it really nice and playful. Not think about it too much. Just filling the entire edge so there are leaves everywhere. right, so we have got, well, now we miss, I do like the idea of the tree covering it, but we have this entire wreath, I don't know how to pronounce it, surrounding this. So I think we need to continue that. So I'm going to put leaves around here as well. What I could do is add a branch right here that is going to mimic some of the pine tree, that's the word. Going to mimic a few pine tree, a pine tree branch, like this. That is kind of big. I don't know. I like the idea, but I don't like the execution. I'm going to put normal leaves there. You know, I want it to be, how do you say it? Cohesive, and well, it's not going to be entirely symmetrical, but it needs to be balanced. Okay, that's a crazy leaf, but I think this fits better. So we do have our forest here in the background. And I don't know, maybe we can add some of those bushes here as well. I don't know how much details we want to put up here in the front. I mean, it would be fun to have a few mushrooms. All right, I don't want to draw too much in here because we already have a lot of details. Maybe one little toadstool. We have two over there, one over there. I don't know. I think this is looking great. Now I put a lot of details in here, so this is a different kind of illustration than what we have been doing lately, although it's getting in the, how do you say it? The dragon, of course, also had a lot of details. But I still think this is something that could be very easier for a beginner. I am going to put this in the sketching vault so that all the steps to draw this and of course later paint this will be in there. So right now I'm using my kneading eraser to lift off all the excess pencil lines. And because this is a complex illustration, I really need to pay attention where all the paint needs to be. But I really don't like to have the gray pencil in the end result. So I'm trying to make the lines as light as possible so that I can still see it to know where the paint needs to be, but I won't be able to see it in the end result. All right, so now it's very difficult to see what I am currently painting. All right, I'm going to, let me see. I'm going to try to use my round brush, but if it's not going to work, I'm going to grab my smaller brush. So I'm going to start to paint the house. And I'm going to try to stay within the lines. There are a lot of details here, so this is very secure. And I'm just using this as a coloring sheet. Really trying to stay within those lines. And later on you will see why. And now I'm going to grab a little bit of burnt umber, a darker brown color, and put it in, so around the edges. So I have a nice shade. Grabbing a bit of the ochre, I'm going to cover the side building. Again, putting in a bit of the burnt umber. Yeah, I think I used too much water here, so let me lift it up and try again. This way it blends more pretty. So, time to do the roof. And now I need to be very careful to not touch the other paint, or it will blend in together. All right. Now, let me see, for the door, I'm going to use, well, I think I would like, there's going to be a lot of green in this painting already. So I'm grabbing my purple, painted a nice purple. They say a witch lives there now. I've considered painting my front door purple, but I didn't want the neighborhood to suspect me yet. So now it's bright and yellow, bright and pink, nice and pink. But I do like purple very much as well. All right, now just building this out. There are a lot of areas to paint, so I hardly know where to start. Just figuring out as I'm going. It's just that at some points I don't want to take the risk of the paint. Oh, you see what just happened? I touched the other paint and then it's just blending in there. It's alright, I'm going to... Oh, I made it worse. I just wanted to say I'm going to keep it that way because you can have those little branches in there, but this is a big branch right now. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like fixing it. Let it dry. See what happens then. Let me see. I have several colors of green, or shades of the color green. So we have some bushes to paint right here, but I don't want to touch the house. I always drop in another color or at least more pigment in my paint while the paint is still wet. This always creates a nice, it makes it less flat, it creates a shade. It's really helping a painting to come alive, give it character. So we have our pine tree over here. Hello, Sweetlana. How are you today? Thank you so much for joining the live stream. Now I'm going to put some gray on those stones right here. I already made it too dark. I always try to work from light to dark. That's nice to hear. I'm doing fine, thank you. Having a nice painting session after spending the entire day at the office. So do you like to paint as well? Adding some gray, some darker gray as a shade. Of course, I could have done the grass first. We do have a lot of details to cover in this painting. Ah, that's really nice. So, do you mind if I keep on doing this stream in English? And I really, I'm doing these live streams to help people also learn how to paint with watercolor. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of video tutorials, and I am finding out new ways that I can help people to learn how to paint. So I am here daily with a live stream. And yeah, so I don't know, you just joined, but this might, I don't know, does this drawing seem challenging for you? I just started out with making the composition. Ooh, a favorite art. Well, I guess the first artist that I really, really loved is Rien Poortvliet. I don't know if you know him. He was Dutch and he painted with oil paint, a lot of nature, and I love nature. And he also did the I think we call it gnome, like David the Kabouter. He's a gnome. I just loved those stories as a kid, and I love his art as an adult. And yeah, Monet also as inspiring. Yeah, of course, very much. So you like to do like landscapes and loose floor. Do you paint with watercolor or do you paint with another medium? So even though Rien Poortvliet paint with oil paints, I've never been really good at that. But he did inspire me to draw and paint nature. Yeah, that's always good to try with all. I do also paint with acrylics. I'm not so good with oil paint. Yeah, for me, I need to take oil paint lessons. Every time I try that, it becomes a gray blur. I guess because it dries up too slow for me, what I'm used to. But even though acrylics and watercolor are very different, I really do love both. But I think watercolor is my true love. I just love it. Like here, you know, I cannot name it a mistake, but the color here blended in. This is the characteristic of watercolor. If you make an error, that can totally ruin your painting, or it can give it character. Yeah, I really need to try oil paint more. I love how it looks. I love to go to museums and be in awe of all the pretty art. And I have never been able to, of course, I'm never going to be able to, well, I'm not a great master, but nothing came even close to something I was satisfied with. What do you mean with what blending with watercolor? Is it something you want to try if... Oh yeah, I can stand in hours for a museum as well. Yeah. Love it. And I also love to paint. I can do that for hours as well. So is there anything you love to learn when it comes to painting with watercolors? In the meanwhile, I am painting in a few of those leaves. Yes, exactly how you described. That's what I love about watercolor. That's why I always when I start, I drop in extra colors in the paint while it is still wet so that I can watch it blend like this. I'm just playing around here. I don't really have a plan other than I know green is my basis. And I just want to add colors in there for variation. So do you have your artwork on your page, on your TikTok page? I would love to look at it after the stream. So I'm just playing around with the different colors of green that I have. And as I said, while the paint is still wet, I'm going to drop some colors in there. And I'm feeling a bit playful right now, so I'm going to grab a different color. Going to grab another different color. All right, now I need to pay attention that the paint isn't becoming too wet because I don't want to overwork my paper. And I might need to switch to the smaller brush. Oh, that would be nice. Of course. Love it. Yeah. And so is there anything you are struggling with when it comes to watercolor? Something I might be able to help you with? So what I'm trying to pay attention to is that I am repeating colors on all the sides of this illustration so that it stays balanced. You don't know how you can make purple flowers on green feel. You mean purple on a green background? So you want to green feed. What do you mean with that? I don't know. So you want a green background and purple flowers on top with watercolor. All right. Do you have like an example of what you want to paint, or what's the struggle? Is it blending in? Is it not? Are you working in layers? And is the second layer, is the purple not really? It's how I see. You have a picture in your head and you want to paint that. So you don't have a picture, an actual reference. You have something in your head that you want to, yeah, that's always challenging. So is your challenge to create the sketch or the composition? Is your challenge to start? Or did you already have the composition and you're working with the watercolors and it's not working the way you would like? Guess I'm asking, where in the process are you struggling with? I really do love that challenge, you know, having something in your head and then need to put it on paper. Well, basically, not too shady and not too bright, but has the form that you see. Have you already started with something? Have you already tried or created a sketch? And are it like lavender flowers? What kind of flowers are they? You know, when I do begin with something, it's nice. I love wild field flowers. I love that so much. Yeah, what I would do is grab paper or a sketchbook and start sketching first. But maybe, do you want to create like a sketch? Maybe you want to have some loose flowers. Maybe if you can share some of your pictures in via DM, I can think, yeah, it depends on what you want. If you can send me a few pictures, I can think about a way to do this. But I guess it's nice to have at least a reference. Maybe I hope I understand what you're looking for. But what I always do is start with my sketchbook. I start drawing, I start sketching. It can be messy and work from there. I can even just grab my watercolors and already have in my head, this is not the end result. This is just trial and error and see where I get to. I just don't know yet if you're interested in like loose florals. Yeah, I am here to help. I am on a mission to create this channel where I'm doing watercolor tutorials. So it really helps me to get actual questions that I can help with. And until that time, I am picking topics myself. And of course, topics that I like to paint, but I hope other people are interested in painting as well. And as you can see, I am into cozy vibes, but I do love flowers as well. And I have been thinking about doing some florals. It's just that This evening I was sitting on the couch doing some inspiration, thinking about what I wanted to paint, and I really had this idea of this cottage. Yeah, do that and please share it with me. I will think with you. I could even do a live session this week. And what I'm doing is putting all the live streams on my YouTube channel as well. So people who cannot follow one or more of my live streams can rewatch it. So if you're unable to watch the stream, then you can still rewatch it, and that maybe that will help you. And thank you so much. I think it's the same as my TikTok name, like handle. It's at Sandra Art Studio. Thank you so much for the rose. Yeah, so you can find me. It's also in my bio. I have a link in my bio. You can find my YouTube there. Or if you go to this website, you can find my YouTube as well. I've linked everything here when it comes to my watercolor tutorials and resources. And I just restarted with creating more tutorial videos. And today I posted the first TikTok live stream video on there, but I'm going to put the others up there as well. So, yeah, thank you so much. So last week I've been working on these dragons. So they were out of my comfort zone. I've never drawn or painted a dragon before, but I needed them for a card I'm creating for someone. And that's the first TikTok now live on my YouTube. And others will be there as well, like this one. Yeah, okay, have a nice evening. I'm looking forward to the pictures. Hope I can help you. And thank you so much. It was very nice to have you on the stream today. Hope to see you soon and maybe on YouTube as well. And of course, send the pictures. I'm going to try to do a purple flower field. Hope it will help you. Yeah. Yeah, that's really nice to get some feedback and engagement while I am sitting here painting. And in the meanwhile, I have all these loose elements and it's slowly turning into a nice illustration. I still have a nice challenge ahead of me to paint in the background because it needs to cover a whole lot of details. So maybe, no, yeah, there's like one thing to go about this is that before you started painting, you could have done like a light wash and then wait until it's totally dry and then paint over it. But then you have a very light background. You cannot do a dark background and paint over it with watercolor. So if there's anyone out there watching now who also likes to say hi, and maybe you have your own watercolor painting challenge, maybe I can help you with that, just shout. Either way, I'm really happy that you're here today joining me. And as I was explaining, I am putting all the live stream sessions on my YouTube channel to rewatch, maybe even creating a actual tutorial out of some of them. including some resources to help you on your painting journey. And everything related to my watercolor tutorials, all the tools, you can find it on my website here, and I'm still expanding. And you can find me in a live session here every day, doing an hour-long watercolor tutorial video. So we started this session with putting some details on the tea mug and the toadstool that we started yesterday. And now we are doing this very nice cozy illustration of a cottage in the forest. And it might seem challenging right now to draw this, but it's actually very easy. And I'm going to create a step-by-step of this illustration, and I'm going to put that on my site as well. So it's very nice and green out here in the forest. But I need to pay attention. There is some smoke coming out of the chimney over there. Now this looks a bit odd. I'm going to mix that in with the tree. Let me see. Now I already have this color. I'm going to get a total different color right here. I really do love all these cozy colors. I need to put some more cozy colors in here as well. So we are going near the hour. I will continue for a little bit, but I won't be able to finish this illustration in this call today, which is totally fine. What would be a nice sky color? All right. I'm thinking I want blue, but I also don't want it to be too colorful. Let me see if this color is nice. So this is like the chimney smoke, and we have the sky be above it, above the tree lines. Now you see it's blending in here. I touched the wet paint. Well, I just need to let it go, do what it's going to do, and see how it looks tomorrow. I'm going to grab myself some sap green And I'm just going to paint the entire bottom part green, like there's grass all around it. And maybe we can put some details on there tomorrow. Tomorrow I can show you all how satisfactory it is to paint grass one by one. That is such a nice and mindful exercise. I need to be very careful because there are some bright red berries and I don't want it to blend in with my beautiful green. So maybe tomorrow I need to expand my grass a bit, but for now I'm staying clear of those berries. And right here around the edge, I'm going to put in some pigment already. But as I said, staying clear from those berries. We will do that tomorrow. And I'm going to add a bit of yellow in here. And in here as well. Just both rooms have the lights on. Alright, so now it is time to let this dry. We are going to let it dry overnight, so tomorrow I can finish this. We are going to put some more details on there. We have also been working on this toadstool today. Tomorrow we could add some grass down here as well, maybe some metallic highlights. And we are also going to really finish this illustration of a tea mug. It still needs some details, like the straw of the tea bag and the chips of the chocolate chip cookies. Some other highlights as well. So if you come back to the live stream tomorrow, this is what we will be working on. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you all back here tomorrow. Have a nice rest of your day or evening.